one of our questions that was submitted by a parent is, what if my student is homesick?
Yeah.
What tips or advice do you have to a parent? You get that phone call, they're crying, I'm kind of lonely, I'm not making friends the way I thought I would. What, as parents, could folks be doing to help support?
And those are tough phone calls to get. And you're going to see them probably 2-3 weeks in. Typically our students are so busy and so engaged and everything's new. First 2-3 weeks are going pretty well. About 3 weeks in, they're going to start feeling a little bit of that tug back home. And I think you just want to listen. You want to listen to them talk, and it could be that, oh gosh, classes are getting a little bit tougher, and sometimes it's not just homesickness, it's a variety of things. And oh yeah, roommate challenges are now creeping up. It was fun the first couple of weeks. It was like camp. And I can live at camp. I've been to camp, away at camp for a week or two, and had a roommate there. Oh, that was fun. But now it's 3 weeks in, so it's getting a little tiring. And so what you want to do is just listen, and then ask questions. If you talk to your roommate about this, if you talk to your RA about ways to get involved, have you looked at the college calendar? You know, I know there's lots of things that they talk to us at orientation about. We're going to keep them real busy. You know, have you gone and tried any of those things? Has your residence hall done any programs, which we will do? And are there ways that you can sort of get out of your room? Have you talked to your peer advisors? There's lots of resources that if they don't feel comfortable with one, do they feel comfortable with another? We want them to engage in that and seek out those resources that can help them sort of navigate through that. And those are a bump. And we see them sort of as a bump in the road. If we can get them engaged, get them refocused, they'll get through that, and they really do. We see it as sort of a process.
I think so much of that for our students seems to be about finding their group. Or their friends, and it's easy for some that get out there right away and put themselves out there, whether it's an athletic team or they're people in the residence hall or the theater or a particular discipline, but for others it's not as obvious.
And it's different for every student. For some students it's really academic focused, and so it's people in their class that they're doing study groups with, and they're meeting up in the library, or they're going to Starbucks to have some study time, and that's where they sort of find their groups. And others it's their residence halls. Others it's clubs and organizations. It's getting involved because they did Key Club in high school, now it's Circle K in college, and that's their group, and that's their friend group. Or it's the multicultural club, it's the Latino student group, or our Black Student Union, and getting together with other African American students, or our Hawaiian club, because they're away from Hawaii and it's a different environment, but how can they find a connection there and somebody where they have something in common? And so there's lots of opportunities. It doesn't just have to be the residence hall, it doesn't have to be academics. There's clubs, there's organizations, there's service opportunities. You know, even sometimes our students that do our work study jobs, you know, the folks that are doing work study in the dining facility, or the folks that are doing work study on grounds, or working in the library, they form. That's a community. So we have lots of, the Linfield community is a wonderful community, but there are lots of sub-communities within that. And it's just finding that, giving that student an opportunity to find that sub-community. And if they're not doing it, give us a call and we'll talk about options and help you partner them and help you have conversations with them. And we're happy to meet with the student and sort of say, have you tried this out? What about this? Let's talk about some of your interests, and we can get them steered in the right way.
Great. Thank you so much. Here's another question that was submitted. I know as a mom it's an area that I would think about as well. Can you tell me a little bit about safety? How safe do you feel the campus and the community are, and what sorts of measures are in place to assure that the students are or feel safe?
Absolutely. In general, Linfield and McMinnville is a very safe community. I live here and I've lived here for many years. It's a wonderful community to raise my children in and to be a part of, and Linfield reflects that. And we do a lot of things to try to ensure that safety. All of our residence halls have card swipe and are really locked 24 hours a day. But to help build that community, all students have access to all residence halls from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. because we want students to be able to go, hey, I want to go see my friend because we've got a project done, and I want to be able to go there and meet them in their residence hall and go down to the lounge and work on that project together, so I can go in and swipe in from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. But then at 10 p.m. the halls switch over, and only students who live in that residence hall would have access to that building. So at night and through all the night, that's just locked down to just those residents. We also have campus safety officers who are on campus 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, patrolling campus. We have blue light phones, so should students feel like, oh, I'm not feeling comfortable, I need a ride, they can push that, they can get a ride, a safe ride around campus. Our RAs are always very well trained, and they make rounds on the weekends, on Friday and Saturday nights, to make sure students are safe, make sure students are making good decisions and helping. And then I think it's really encouraging students. Part of the trap that I think students fall into is they do feel very safe here, and that's great. We want students to feel safe, but they still need to lock their door when they leave to go off to classes. And if they're living in our apartments, they need to say, okay, I'm leaving, and I don't know where my roommate is, but I'm locking the door, and they need to carry their keys with them, and they need to carry their IDs because that gets them access to their buildings. And so it's some of those things that we do to try to educate those students, and the RAs will spend time talking about that, and our campus safety officers spend time talking about that. And we put out information to help students be safe and make sure that they're in a safe environment. And our campus is very well lit at night. And we want students to feel comfortable on campus walking around. But we always encourage students, just as you were if you were in any community, walk in pairs. If you're leaving the library, ask if one of your other friends is going with you, and walk together and buddy up. And we think you do those things, and that will really help with your safety on campus.
Yeah, and as you said earlier, so much of living on campus is sort of learning life skills that you can use later. So good judgment about those kinds of things, even when you feel safe, is probably smart for the
absolutely.
future.
It's just how do you make sure that you're aware of your surroundings? Our students are very good at looking out for one another and being aware of other students and taking care of one another. We talk about being an active bystander, that you really. Part of being a member of an engaged community is looking out for other community members. It's not just about you, but it's about the community, and how do you care for that community. So we really have this sort of unofficial neighborhood watch, because students look out for one another. And that's, I think, a positive attribute of Linfield.
Great. I know that in hearing about liberal arts and the value of a liberal arts, especially after college, so much of it has to do with not only what you learned in the classroom, but soft skills. And it sounds to me, in what you're saying, that much of that actually takes place in the residence hall. Well,
absolutely. And we want students to, and we talk overtly, very clearly about these are the skills we want students to learn, and we want you to learn how to value and be more multiculturally competent. We want you to learn how to negotiate through conflict and talk about what conflict is. We want you to develop those communication skills, and we want you to learn what it's like to be a member of a community, because those are skills that if they learn how to articulate those skills, they can translate those skills into a cover letter, they can translate those skills into a resume, and then they can translate those skills into an interview and say, you know, when I was living in my residence hall and I served as the service chair, or I was the wellness chair, or I was the hall president, you know, we did these things to build community. And those are the same sort of things that they might do with a company they're interviewing for, or a nonprofit. And this is how I can build this, and this is how I understand the importance of service and being an active member of that. And here's how I'm a team player. And here's what I've done to do those sorts of things.
Great. Now, I've heard you mention learning opportunities in the residence hall system, and you just named, I think, a couple of things, as well as we've talked a little bit about RAs, or resident advisors. Can you give us just a couple of ideas of some of those leadership type roles?
Sure, absolutely. Students, and this is true of all first year students, will have the opportunity to apply for positions of hall president, a service chair, green chair. We have wellness chairs within the hall, social chairs, because we feel like the RAs play an important role in each of our residence halls and our apartment complexes, but they alone shouldn't be developing that community. It takes a community to develop those communities. So there's great opportunities, and oftentimes there'll be co-chairs, co-presidents, or in a larger hall, 2 wellness chairs that are helping talk about wellness issues and health issues and success issues to all of our students. And that's not just the role of the RA, but that's the role of our students that have interest in those areas. So oftentimes students will apply for those, and they'll have a wonderful opportunity, and that's sort of the precursor to then an RA position, or a peer advisor position, or positions in student government, or a club leader. And they're great opportunities to sort of start that leadership. And so it's great opportunities for students to come in and say, how do I want to make a difference? How do I want to be actively engaged as a community member in the community I live in?
Even as a first-year student?
Even as a first-year student.
Terrific. I think we've covered all of the questions that were submitted, but is there anything else you think parents might like to know or hear?
Well, I think we want to partner, and we want parents to see this as a real opportunity for skill development and growth by their son or daughter. And they have the opportunity to partner with us and say, how are you doing within your hall? We want you to check in, but are you learning? Are you learning? Are you growing in that? Are you being engaged? How are you engaging in your community? And talk about role modeling that, and how are you engaged, and how are they being engaged as a member of their community? And this is a unique opportunity, and we want them to practice those skills. And if they see this as this is going to be trial and error, they're going to try some things, it's not going to work, try something else. But it's a real opportunity, and we want our parents to see this as not just a place where they sleep, it's not just a dorm, but it's a residence hall, and it's an engaged, active community, and they need to be an important member of that community. And that leadership and that growth and that learning is going to occur because we're going to create opportunities for that to occur for them. And if they see that and partner with us on that, I think it's going to be a great year.
Great. Thank you so much, Jeff. Thanks for all you do for Linfield and for our students, and thanks for your time today.
You're welcome. This has been a wonderful opportunity. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Next time, our guest will be Michael Hampton. Michael is the Director of Career Development at Linfield, and he'll be talking about how parents can be an active partner in a student's vocational journey as they work toward future employment down the road. So if you have any questions as they relate to career development or what Linfield has to offer, I invite you to send those questions to our email address, parents@linfield.edu, and we'll do our best to address those with Michael Hampton. Thanks again for your time.